The auditorium empties and the lights shut off. The principal never makes it home. At first it sounds simple. A late night. A wrong turn. Weeks passed. Months later, a locker is found unlocked. Years later, a yearbook opens to a page no one remembers approving, and something written there was never meant to be seen. Subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and click on the bell icon to get more true crime stories. Graduation night in Millbrook felt ordinary in the way small towns always do. Folding chairs stacked. Streamers drooping. Parents drifting toward parking lots with cameras still warm in their hands. The principal, Mark Ellison, stayed behind. He always did. 52 years old. Divorced. No children. The kind of administrator who knew names, schedules, family histories. He shook hands longer than necessary and made promises about recommendation letters he would never forget. Witnesses later agreed on the last confirmed sighting. Ellison walked down the east hallway toward his office. The weather was mild. The parking lot cameras showed his car still there at 11:47 p.m. By morning it was gone. The first theory settled in quickly. Voluntary disappearance. Administrators burn out. People snap. The timing fit. Graduation marked the end of the year. Ellison had taken sick days in the spring. A colleague mentioned he seemed distracted during staff meetings. Police asked about finances, credit cards, phone records. Nothing unusual surfaced. His bank account stayed untouched. His phone went dark at 12:03 a.m. Students whispered a different explanation. The principal had broken up a fight that night. A senior had been escorted out by security after shouting at a teacher. Rumors spread that Ellison confronted someone dangerous. The town leaned into it. Outsiders. Trouble from the next county over. A crime of opportunity felt easier than anything else. Searches followed the expected pattern. Woods. Drainage ditches. Abandoned barns. Dogs tracked a scent from the east hallway to the parking lot, then lost it near the road. The case stalled. Posters faded. Graduation gowns were packed away. Summer ended. Millbrook moved on. Except the school did not. Ellison's office was sealed. Files boxed and labeled. A new principal arrived by August. Policies changed. Hall passes looked different. Bells rang at new times. The building absorbed the absence like it always had, with silence. Years passed. Students who had shaken Ellison's hand that night graduated college. Some returned to teach. Others avoided town entirely. The case was officially classified as a missing adult with no evidence of foul play. The phrase sounded final even if it wasn't. 18 years later, the district authorized a renovation. Old storage rooms were cleared. Trophy cases removed. Records digitized. A retired librarian volunteered to catalog memorabilia before it went to archives. That included yearbooks. Most of them were identical. Class photos. Team rosters. Messages scrawled in ink that had bled into the paper. Then one book stood out. The graduation year. Ellison's last. The librarian noticed something off immediately. The principal's page had annotations. Neatly written notes in a different pen. Dates. Initials. A phrase repeated twice in the margins, then crossed out. The handwriting didn't match Ellison's. Administration was notified. The book was removed from circulation. A copy was sent to the district office. Someone finally called law enforcement again. Detectives treated it as a cold case review. Standard procedure. But the annotations didn't read like nostalgia. They read like accounting. Names of students appeared beside symbols no one could explain. One name had been circled heavily. That student had disappeared from records 2 years after graduation. At first, investigators assumed a prank. Seniors do strange things. Yearbooks get altered. But ink analysis placed the writing months after graduation night. That detail shifted the timeline. Ellison didn't vanish the night of graduation. Something happened afterward. Something kept him connected to the school long enough to reopen that book. Long enough to write what he did. Long enough to be interrupted. The final page examined that week wasn't the principal's portrait. It was the faculty index. A single name had been pressed so hard the paper nearly tore. Next to it, a date no one recognized. And beneath that, a short note that ended mid-sentence, as if whoever wrote it never had the chance to finish. The date written beside that name failed to align with anything in the district's calendar. It wasn't tied to a graduation, a disciplinary hearing, or a school event. Detectives still ran it through the system. The result pointed to a Tuesday in October, 4 months after Ellison vanished. Attendance logs from that day were fragmented. A server migration years earlier had corrupted digital archives. Paper backups were gone. Only one document survived intact, a substitute sign-in sheet. Ellison's name appeared on it, handwritten, marked as present. No substitute was listed. Payroll records showed his employment had already ended. Forgery was the immediate assumption. Someone copying his handwriting. Analysts compared the signature to known samples. Pressure patterns aligned. Stroke order matched. The pauses were identical. The signature belonged to Ellison. That meant he was alive in October. Focus shifted to the circled student in the yearbook. Lila Moreno. 17 at graduation. Scholarship recipient. Quiet. Chronic absences late in the school year. Counseling notes referenced family instability. After graduation, her trail disappeared. No college enrollment. No employment records. Social media activity ended abruptly in August. Her parents had originally told police she moved in with relatives. The claim was never confirmed. When detectives re-interviewed them 18 years later, the explanation changed. This time they said she ran away. Neither parent could agree on when. Other names appeared in the yearbook margins. All from the same graduating class. All flagged by guidance counselors for truancy or home concerns. 2 were dead. 1 from a car accident. 1 from an overdose. The 4th had legally changed his name and left the state. The notes no longer looked like nostalgia. They resembled tracking. Investigators returned to the school building. Renovation crews were questioned. One worker mentioned a sealed storage area behind the auditorium. It wasn't listed on updated blueprints. The space had been closed during a remodel in the early 2000s. Inside sat discarded desks, stage props, and filing cabinets no one remembered using. One cabinet was locked. After the lock was cut, manila folders were found inside. Each was labeled only with initials. No student ID numbers. No last names. The initials matched those written in the yearbook. Every folder contained copies, report cards, nurse visit logs, discipline referrals. Handwritten notes filled the margins. The handwriting did not belong to Ellison. The tone was detached. Clinical. Patterns were highlighted. Absences circled. Behavior interpreted as data. This was not routine administration. It was surveillance. One note referenced meetings after hours. Another mentioned compliance improving. A third ended with subject no longer resistant. Ellison's role became clearer. His handwriting appeared only at the bottom of some pages. Initials placed there as acknowledgement, not authorship. That distinction altered the theory again. Ellison hadn't created the system. He had discovered it. Former staff members were contacted. Most denied knowledge. One retired vice principal hesitated before speaking. She recalled Ellison approaching her in the fall after graduation. He seemed shaken. Said he'd found something buried in student welfare files. Expressed fear of making a false accusation. Mentioned taking the information to the school board. That meeting never happened. Phone records revealed 3 calls placed the night before his disappearance. 1 to a former guidance counselor. 1 to the district office. 1 to a faculty member who had since died. That faculty member's name was the one pressed hardest into the yearbook index. The teacher resigned 2 weeks after Ellison vanished. Health reasons were cited. The move out of state followed quickly. Death came 5 years later. No complaints were ever filed. No criminal record existed. Yet several students listed in the folders had been assigned to his after-school program. Searches of his former residence yielded nothing. Ownership had changed hands twice. A neighbor, however, remembered seeing Ellison parked across the street one night. The car sat there for a long time. The engine never started. The implication darkened. Ellison hadn't disappeared to escape pressure. He vanished after realizing how dangerous the truth might be. The final document in the cabinet stood apart. A single sheet of paper folded over and over. A partial list of names appeared on it. Lila Moreno's was circled. Below it, written in Ellison's hand, was a message. Check the yearbook. If anything happens to me. The discovery recontextualized everything. The unlocked locker. The missing backups. The October signature. None of it was accidental. Each piece had been placed deliberately. Ellison believed the safest place to hide the truth was the one place everyone trusted most. The yearbook was removed again, this time for forensic review. Ink dating confirmed what investigators already suspected. The The margin notes were written in the fall following graduation. Not all at once. Over several weeks. Someone kept returning to the same pages, adding information carefully, as if tracking developments in real time. Handwriting analysis ruled out students. The penmanship belonged to an adult. Trained. Consistent. The same hand appeared in the hidden folders. Attention narrowed to the former faculty member whose name had been pressed into the index. His role at the school had never raised concern while he was employed. He ran an after-school mentorship program focused on at-risk youth. The program was praised publicly. Attendance was optional. Oversight was minimal. Enrollment lists for that program were incomplete. Some names appeared only in personal notes. Several matched the initials in the filing cabinet. Detectives uncovered one overlooked detail in Ellison's personnel file. A complaint drafted but never submitted. The document stopped mid-paragraph. It described patterns of access and private evaluations conducted without consent. The timestamp showed it was last edited the night Ellison disappeared. Why the complaint was never filed became clearer after reviewing district procedures at the time. Submitting it would have triggered an internal review handled quietly without law enforcement. Ellison had bypassed that path. He'd started documenting instead. The October signature placed him back in the building months after his disappearance. Investigators finally understood how. Ellison still had access. The school's master key system hadn't been updated in over a decade. His credentials were never fully revoked. He could enter after hours without triggering alarms. Security logs from that period were incomplete. One camera facing the east hallway had been offline for weeks due to a maintenance issue. Ellison hadn't returned to work. He'd returned to gather proof. What he likely didn't know was that someone else was watching. The final break came from an unlikely source. The student who had changed his name. Now living under a different identity, he agreed to speak after detectives contacted him through a public records search. His memory of the after-school program had faded. One detail hadn't. Meetings held in a room beneath the auditorium. Not listed on schedules. Not supervised. Students were told it was confidential support. Notes were taken. Personal information collected. Resistance was framed as lack of cooperation. He remembered Ellison showing up once. Late. Unannounced. Standing in the doorway. The meeting ended abruptly. The teacher escorted Ellison out. The student never saw the principal again. That room was located behind the sealed storage area. When investigators reopened the space, they found more than filing cabinets. Behind a false wall was a narrow room. Soundproofed. No windows. A desk. 2 chairs. Shelves filled with outdated assessment forms bearing district letterhead. Nothing illegal remained. Everything incriminating had been removed. Everything except one detail. A shallow groove in the concrete floor. Recently repaired. Ground-penetrating radar was brought in weeks later. Beneath the patch was an anomaly. Too small to be a body. Too deliberate to be ignored. Excavation revealed a sealed metal container. Inside were flash drives wrapped in plastic. The files were intact. They contained audio recordings. Counseling sessions. Meetings labeled as evaluations. Voices of students. One adult voice dominated. Calm. Methodical. Guiding conversations toward compliance. Ellison's voice appeared only once. Raised. Panicked. Demanding answers. The recording cut off abruptly. The teacher had been dead for years. The district settled multiple civil cases quietly. Records were sealed again, this time by court order. Officially, Mark Ellison remains a missing person. Unofficially, the yearbook stays locked away. Because on the inside cover, written smaller than the rest, is one final note investigators never released. A sentence Ellison added after everything else. They think I stopped watching.